So this is our spectrophotometer. Operation is pretty simple. We already talked about the principle of this thing. There's a light source over here, and it shines through to a light collector over there, and our sample sits right there. As the light shines through, the machine knows how much light left and how much came back, and then it measures how much the sample absorbed the light, right? Really doesn't absorb it, kind of scatters it, right? But they call it absorbance. Some things that we talked about a little bit in class, but I just want to illustrate again, right? So here are two samples. That's water, and that's TSB, both of which are sterile, both of which are clear, both of which should theoretically read 0. But the color difference is important because the machine can't tell the difference. So for example, there's water, and the operation is super easy, right? The cell with the B is where your sample sits. Close the lid and read, and then right now water is at about 0, right? And then if you put in TSB, also sterile, notice it is actually not at 0, 0.059, 0.06 for argument's sake, right? So we need to tell the machine what sterile TSB looks like. So in order to do that, there's a button here. It says measure blank. We're just going to hit that, and then that'll and then that'll zero the machine for us, right? So now the machine knows, okay, now we know we have sterile TSB, and that's important because all the samples we're going to measure are in TSB. The power of the spec is the speed at which we get our data, right? So here I have two broth cultures ready to measure. I put it in, close the lid, boom, 0.197. Let's just go 0.2. We'll round that up to 0.2. Nice and simple. Notice, by the way, it drifts because cells are floating around. And that's it. That's how long it took me to get my value, right? But the number itself doesn't really mean anything. 0.2. What does that mean? I don't know. All I do know is, here's my culture B. Culture B reads 0.35. Let's go 0.36. Okay. And so then all I know is that culture B has has a higher concentration of bacteria than culture A. So it makes very good reference point in terms of comparison. But in terms of actual number, I have no idea actually how many cells there are, right? It could be a lot, it could be a little. All cells have different sizes. All cells will scatter lights differently, so it's hard to say exactly how many cells there are, right? But because I know these two are the same culture, I know culture B has a higher concentration, just given the fact that the turbidity or the absorbance is higher. And that's it.